You're watching Morning Live. Thanks so much for joining us today. And as you heard earlier from Rob Byrne, the roads already slightly busier. Now, the festive season always filled with joy and excitement, and it's also filled with other things, such as, unfortunately, reckless behaviour on the one hand and roadblocks on the other. So the festive season road accident death toll is mounting across the country. The Eastern Cape has already experienced over 20 road deaths since the start of the festive season, and traffic officials say that they are going to be very strict in arresting those that violate the rules of the road. And they are already out in numbers in Port Elizabeth this morning as people prepare to head home ahead of the Christmas break. And our reporter Lerato Thipa is in Port Elizabeth, just outside of PE in Colchester, we understand, and we're going to cross to her now to find out what's happening at this particular roadblock. Lerato, good morning.
Well, Sakina, that stat that was over 20 has now risen to over 90. In just 18 days, over 90 people have actually passed away on the Eastern Cape Road. Really an alarming rate, but as you can see, people are beginning to head home, and equally so, the road officials are also out in numbers, making sure that the roads are also safe as people head out to holiday. Also, something to highlight as well, Sakina, is that over the past 18 days, over 1,450 arrests have been made. Things ranging from drunken driving, unlicensed drivers, and also stolen vehicles. So as much as the road deaths have increased, but roads enforcement have also come out in numbers, making equally as much arrests to make sure that people are safe on their roads. But to give us more about how things stand in terms of the roads in the Eastern Cape is the speaker, the spokesperson for the Department of Transport, Mr. Bengose. Mr. Bengose, the rates for the deaths on our roads in the Eastern Cape are very alarming, 92, like you're saying earlier on, since the 1st of December. Alarming rates for the Eastern Cape.
Without a doubt, it is very, very disturbing. I mean, we didn't expect that we'll be sitting at such a huge number of fatalities so early into the festive season. And of course, there's this untold number of people who have suffered serious to very, very critical injuries. And as the department, we're very, very disturbed about that. And the MEC of Transport in the Eastern Cape, Mweziwe Tikana, has time and again urged our motorists to be extra vigilant on the road, extra cautious, and of course, be a bit more patient, because we understand that a lot of these accidents that we have experienced in this province, and of course across the country, the majority of them can be avoided. I mean, hospitals are full now of people who found themselves in accidents that could have been avoided only if the motorists were able to apply themselves. But our officers are on the ground. They lace their boots up every morning and ensure that the law is upheld. And we believe that the arrests that they have made, but particularly those who have been caught drunk driving, they may have saved a lot of lives that may have been lost on the roads as well. So we wish to commend them for that, and of course we will push ahead. We know that this coming weekend is by far going to be the busiest, and we will be on the road up until the very last day. We understand that it's going to be hectic until Tuesday morning, which is Christmas Day. So we'll be on the ground ensuring that the law is upheld, and of course there's a reduction. In fact, there's no more increase in the number of fatalities on our roads.
There's also been a call, Mr. Bengose, for more roadblocks on our roads, saying that if perhaps there were more roadblocks, there wouldn't be so many accidents. Is there a plan to carry this out throughout the year to make sure that the cars are roadworthy throughout the year, not only during the festive season?
No, without a doubt. That's one of the plans of the department, to ensure that this is an ongoing process. And of course, it's not just about the roadblocks. We also educate motorists to ensure that they are on par. And of course, going forward, we are also beefing up our efforts on Monday, which is Christmas Eve. We understand that the department, under the stewardship of Mweziwe Tikana, will unveil a number of high-performance cars, and of course some bakkies as well, which will be distributed all across the province. Those vehicles will be able to assist our officers on the ground to ensure that they are able to keep up with the lawbreakers and ensure that they get those arrested. That is going to be ongoing up until right through the year. We understand that post this period, people are going to head back to work. We're going to be doing back to school programs. So we have a full program right through the year to ensure that we are able to educate our motorists, because I mean, a lot lot of the buck lies with them. We can have as many traffic officers as we can on the road, but the final decision is taken by the person behind the wheel. And we always say that road safety is everybody's responsibility, including not just drivers but passengers as well. They have every right to call drivers to order if they feel that they are not driving according to the rules. If they feel that their lives are endangered, they have every right to call them to order, and of course include our officers on the ground and alert them if there's such a thing happening.
Last, Mr. Ben, like you were saying earlier on, the buck lies with the drivers. You as officials can do all that you can. You can do roadblocks throughout the year. You can make arrests. But in the end, it's the driver's responsibility to make sure that as they head out, they just comply with the rules of the road.
No, certainly. And another disturbing trend when Lerato is seeing that a lot of the fatalities that have been happening on our roads have been pedestrians. And maybe that is saying something to us. Maybe a lot of our education has been focused on drivers, particularly public transport drivers. But we can blame government for doing that, because we understand that if a taxi driver loses it, it's a whole lot of people that are affected. So we want to ensure that going forward we include road safety messages towards pedestrians as well, because it's alarming at the rate at which pedestrians are dying on our roads. And one of the major causes for that is people who are walking drunk, people who walk at night wearing dark clothing. So we wish to urge pedestrians as well to be on alert, because they are dying on the roads. I mean, only yesterday we had 2 pedestrian fatalities right here in Port Elizabeth, and it's people who have done things that they should not have done. I mean, it's a lot of human error that has contributed to the accidents that we have experienced on our roads, particularly here in the Eastern Cape. So we will ensure that our message is spread across not just the motorists, but we also include pedestrians in our message.
Well, that was the spokesperson from the Department of Transport, Lerato Thipa, saying that the buck really stops with the drivers, that as you head out home, make sure that you comply with the rules of the road, but also urging pedestrians as well to make sure that they also are safe on the roads, making sure that they don't walk around drunk, that they also wear coloured clothing to show themselves visibly on the road. So saying that as people head out to the festive season, the buck stops with them. They must buckle up, they must have their discs up to date, they must make sure that their cars are licensed, and above all, they must make sure that they head home safely by complying to the rules of the road. It's back to you, studio.
Well, thank you so much to Lerato Thipa outside Port Elizabeth there. And human error is the phrase that jumped out there. Human beings and our behaviour causing these carnages that we see on